And away we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another satisfactory edition of Racers News Network Live. Freaking hot. Hold on. Now my audio's not working again.
We could hear you.
There it is. There. Um, yeah, it's hot. That's all there is to it. It's hot.
It is. I love the
It is.
heat, but this is pretty extreme.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said earlier. It's humid where you live
Oh my
too,
God.
so
Yeah.
that doesn't help the cause at all.
No, no. I want to say, I think we hit 97 or 98 today, but the humidity is so high. It felt like 108 or something goofy like that. I don't know. Hot as
You
hell.
were
I
you
can
were
tell you
breathing
it's
a
hotter
waterfall.
here. It's hotter here than in Florida.
Yeah,
So
that's
go
what
figure.
surprised me when I looked at the weather earlier. So, well, Mother Nature, she's just not being anybody's friend.
This weekend coming up. It's weird because you're seeing well, I'm going to tell you right now while I'm here because I just looked at it. So I'm going to go with Lebanon Valley because that's where I hope to be hanging out this weekend. So it says for Lebanon, Friday, it says a 70% chance of rain. But if you look at when the rain's supposed to come, it's supposed to be between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. in the morning. So
All right.
not a big deal, right? The rest of the day is looking dry. Now, on Saturday, an 85% chance of rain, but there are at like 7 to 8 in the morning and then at 8 o'clock at night. And the rest of the day is supposed to be dry. Sunday is a 65% chance of rain, but again, it's at midnight. So if you look at let me see if I could do this. Get out of here. So I don't know if you could see this or not,
Yeah,
but you see, yeah, I'm trying.
yeah, I did it first, and then
Right.
yeah, now
So
it's
if
too
you
far
see, it's
back in
like,
its
right,
glory.
if you look at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's 65, 70, 60. But when you look at when it's supposed to actually happen, it's favorable for good racing. So, and the temperatures look like they're a lot more realistic. So there's a good chance that if people actually look into the weather app and see when it's supposed to rain, there's a very good chance that we could have a pretty good weekend of weather. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Cool. So, coming up this week, excuse me, this weekend is Nessa, and then obviously on Friday night you have the Night of Fire,
That is correct.
and you planning on going on Friday?
So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. Uh, the whole family's dying to go to the racetrack. So I think Friday morning I am going to take the motorhome, excuse me, in trailer to school, load the car up in whatever condition that it's in, bring it up to the track, watch my kid race the Night of Fire. And then on Saturday, while we're hanging out and he's racing and all that stuff, I'm just going to chip away at it and work on it. And if I could get it finished on Saturday and get into test and tune and make a couple of hits or get in on Sunday, whatever. So it's really not a lot of work to do. It's just I just haven't had any time. So here, if I load it up and I'm up at the track, I'm left alone. I've got no school, I've got no shop, I've got no nothing. I'm just up there with a toolbox and people around that could give me a hand to hold something if I need it. So that's what I'll do.
Everything you need, a race car, a toolbox, and a dream.
pretty much.
Cool.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cool. So, talking about your son, Brennan, actually kind
Yep.
of leads into my question for the night. I came up with something simple since what I
Only
had
one?
planned didn't pan out. I'm a very simple person.
I like it.
Um, Obviously, most kids nowadays start out in the juniors.
Yep.
Your son is 23, 24, 22. Okay.
Yep.
How old was he when he came to you and Bree and said, I want to race?
That's a good question. I mean, Bree and I can't believe that it's been this long, but we met 15 years ago, which means he was only 7, and he's between the two of us, he's our second oldest. My daughter being 23, him 22. And within a year or two of my wife and I dating, I'm sorry, I keep yawning. Um, they were at the racetrack
Huh.
and they were always into it. And my son, Peter, made a couple of passes in Linda Prizer's junior and didn't show a lot of interest in it. Brennan never really expressed any interest in the junior stuff. And then once he got his license, he like just wanted to get a car. I mean, obviously his first priority was a daily driver. But then I don't know. I think the first race car he had was Firebird that never made it to the racetrack. Started taking it apart. A typical kid took it way too far apart. Um, it just got kind of out of hand. Then we got him a dragster, which I still have, that he didn't want to take apart. He, more or less just kind of wanted me to do it, or he thought I was getting in too deep with it, or whatever. And then I came across this Monte Carlo for me. I wanted to make it a street car. And he took a serious liking to the car and um he got a Cadillac. He had a 65 Cadillac that was just like a car show car that he could drive around and have a good time with. And once he saw the Monte Carlo, he was like, I gotta have it. So I wound up working out a deal with him. And he went to the track once and that was it.
He got bit.
Oh God. I mean, he literally has to have he came home from racing this weekend with a toothache. And he went to the doctor and he has to have his wisdom teeth pulled out. And he basically told the doctor, we got to figure this out so that I could do this and not lose a weekend of racing. So I think he made the appointment like on a Monday and he'll have the rest of the week to recover so
Right.
he could go back to the track. And he joined Pro Points and he's watching the points every week. And when he gets home, he can't wait to look online until they update the points. So yeah, he's thoroughly hooked.
Cool. Now, how about the other kids? Did they, other than Peter, show
They
any
Nothing. They
interest?
loved going to the track. You couldn't keep them away from the track. They absolutely loved it. Loved going to national events, meeting the pros. Loved the people at the track. They were like a whole extra set of moms and dads running around that used to give them rides on golf carts and do stuff. They loved it, but none of them really showed any interest in driving.
Now, as a racer, how did that make you feel?
I don't know that I ever thought about it twice, to be honest with you. I mean, it's kind of like me having my own shop, but none of my kids really interested in taking it over when I want to pack it in. Um, I've never felt the need to pressure anyone into liking what I like. Them supporting me and I mean, whenever I'm away, I'll show you my phone. My kids are constantly texting me, "How you doing? How did it go? How's the car running?" I mean, that's always been more than good enough for me. Um, I mean, would I have loved it if four out of five or five out of five of my kids wanted to race? I don't know. Would I love it? The one I got now that's racing makes me nuts. I can't imagine that times four more. So my
Hey,
wallet can't imagine it either. So
you wouldn't want to be a Chris D then.
no, no, dude, I don't know how that dude functions. I mean, I complain that I got a lot of stuff going on. He runs a full blown big business, and then his operation for racing is like another full blown big business. That dude just doesn't stop.
Yeah, because I got to thinking about it. I don't know what put the thought in my head about, your kid approaches you and says, "Hey, I want to race." And
Yep.
anybody who's listening, please feel free to pipe in. Um, obviously you're not going to run out and buy him $100,000 friggin' factory stalker.
Right.
Do you go with the, okay, well, let me talk to mom, see if you can use her SUV to this weekend to give it a shot. Do you use the family truckster, so to speak, or do you go out and you buy a cheap whatever, Pontiac
Yeah, I mean,
Sunfire or something? And
that's one of the cool things about this sport is, I mean, you could literally like if let's say another one of my kids came up and said, "I would love to take a car down the quarter mile." I mean, I could bring my 1500 series pickup truck up there and say, "Sit in it and pretend you're getting on the highway." There's so many different ways to do it if you think about it, right? You could do junior dragster, you could do daily driver. Um, I know they got that high school eliminator class that they have.
yeah,
They have that thing where you could take the parent for a pass, or you could, start out open trophy, pro, super pro. I mean, there's so many ways to do it that the cool thing that I think about our sport is you could literally be sitting on your couch on a Tuesday night saying, I'd like to take a car down the track to see what it's like. And on Wednesday night, you could go up to Lebanon Valley and you could do just that.
right.
There's not a lot of, I mean, I know if I decided I wanted to run Lime Rock on a Tuesday night, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to drive up there on a Wednesday night and start ripping around the track. I don't know, you know, or Waterford or Stafford or Thompson or whatever.
Right.
Um,
Well, that's what kind of where I was going to go next, was where the difference between, not that there's anything wrong with circle
no,
tracking,
absolutely. It's just
but
to me, it seems like it's a lot easier to get involved with drag racing than the other stuff. But I'm also ignorant to the other stuff too, so I could be totally wrong with what I'm saying. There could be circle track people tuning in right now saying, "You friggin' idiot! You could take your 1500 around Stafford if you wanted to." And I have no idea.
right, yeah, like at some tracks do the spectator, some circle tracks, I should say,
Yep.
do the spectator drags
Right.
where you race side by side
Yep.
with another car, one or two laps.
Right.
You-
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
that wall, that 3 foot high wall gets awful big and awful and scary
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
When you're going 50,
I would
80
I would
miles an hour.
absolutely love to try it. I mean, if someone said, "Get into my circle track and take it for circle track car and take it for a rip," I would do it in a heartbeat. I just never really knew. I mean that my buddy Big Mike that works for me, he used to be into circle track. Um, I want to say he did like, I don't know, pure stock or something, whatever the hell he did. And I know that if he was still into it, he would be throwing me in the car and making me do it. But he got out of it before we got really tight, and then helped me with all the drag racing stuff at my shop and whatever. But
Right.
Yeah, I would definitely try it if I had the opportunity.
Right. Well, like Steve Rhodes just said, circle track's a whole other ball game. No grocery getter races there.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we're sitting there saying, "Hey, I've never been down the track before. I want to go." You could literally drive to your local track on whatever night they have street night or a testing tune or whatever and go. I don't think you afford that same luxury with any type of road race or circle track, you know?
Yeah. Well, like SCCA with road racing, they do have track night stuff. Um, you're like you have to do point buys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You need a helmet, and seatbelt.
Right.
But yeah. Now to go a little bit further into it, how about down the road? Do you see a time where you go, all right, I'm obviously not going to sell that car because I'm going to be buried in it. But
Right.
do you look over at Brennan and go, you want a piece of this action or what?
Oh, I would put him in that car tomorrow if he wanted to drive it. I'd have no problem with that at all. That friggin' car drives itself, so it's not. I mean, it's got 8 horsepower and it's got 400 inches of rubber on the ground. It's not like it's hard to drive. I would put him in it. I would actually like for him to get in it because, he feels like his Monte Carlo is fast, and I would like to just turn him loose in that thing just to let him know what
What
fast
faster is
usually
like,
feels like. Yeah, because it's
yeah,
it's a it's a hell of a step up from. I mean, if you think about the step he would make going from the Monte Carlo to my car, he'll probably never ever make that jump again. Like for my to make that jump again, you'd have to go like from my car to a really, really fast top sportsman car to make the same equivalent jump, you know?
right.
Um, so he would probably never make that big of a jump again, which it would be cool to watch.
Yeah, because his Monte Carlo is what, about an 11.5 second car, right?
The fastest he's gone so far is 11:18, but it lives in the 11:30, 11:40 range somewhere around there.
Okay.
And my car goes like 860s, 870s.
So what was it like when you had that other dragster that you just recently sold? You've
Yes,
had other ones in the past, and you still
correct.
have that other one. What was it like going from your car to a dragster? Was it just kind of like
The dragster. So the dragster that I had, the S&W 4 link car, I liked that car because I was very comfortable in the car. And to me, it felt like the ultimate bracket racing weapon. I never felt like I was bringing a knife to a gunfight. The only knife part of the equation was the driver. It was never the car. That car repeated like it was amazing, and I'm trying to get my car to repeat like that dragster did. Um, but all the sensation with the dragster was in the first 100 feet, and then after that, it was like, you know.
settled into a comfy chair?
Yeah, I mean, again, you want to talk about a car that I would put anybody in and let it drive. The fastest I went with that car was down at Moroso in Florida. I went 750 at 178. And when I tell you there was I really think in that car the steering wheel could have fell off and I still would have went right through the stripe, right in the middle of the groove. I mean, it was just very easy to drive. And a 240-inch 4 link dragster with 940 horsepower, that's how it should go. It's not like my car was anything special. It's just that's what they do. That's why they're so popular for, bracket racing and drag racing. It's just taking my car and making it into a drag car is taking something that was never intended for drag racing and making it drag racing. A dragster is made for drag racing. And the first time you ever drive one, you'll say, wow, that's the difference between something made for it and something you make it into. It's a whole different ballgame.
Um, So let's see. Of course, I had all these grand thoughts in my head, and then when the time comes, it's like, but no, just like I said, it's just I got to thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, that'd be a cool topic. Something along those lines is something we've never really gotten into.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird too. No one in my immediate family ever drag raced, right? My dad never did, my grandfather never did. My cousin Timmy Tasmer with the lime green 55 wagon.
Bob's old car,
You got it.
yeah.
Sourpuss? Was that the
Sour
name it
Puss too,
was?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Bob Broadbent.
Um, Me and my dad would go to Lebanon Valley 3 or 4 times a year and watch him and my uncle race. And my dad always loved it and I always loved it. But then when my father moved to Massachusetts and I started working for a guy local to me, he was big time into drag racing. So one thing led to another, and we wound up going drag racing. And then my father really got into it, and he raced his Chevelle. I raced my Vega, and the whole family got broke.
The rest, as they say, is history.
Yep, without a doubt.
All right, we might have a visitor coming in.
Okay, cool.
All right, so what's the long-term forecast looking like for Friday
Long-term forecast for Friday at Lebanon Valley, you're talking?
at Lebanon Valley?
Okay, I'm just so that I don't give you bad info. I'm gonna look it up again, but I think it's just in the early AM hours and then at like 7 o'clock at night. But let me just confirm. New Lebanon, New York, Friday.
I got 50% highs in the 60s during the
So I
day.
I am showing total rain for the day is 0.15, so a tenth and a half of an inch, and it's showing from like 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. And then
Oh, perfect.
the rest of the day is showing dry.
Nice.
And it's showing uh, a high of 68. God, that's going to feel good. Oh my God. That's much better.
It's just like
So,
I said earlier, it's just been some screwy ass weather so far
yeah,
this year.
it really has. I mean, even looking at the weather up there, today's high is 93, tomorrow is 86, Thursday 72, Friday 68. I mean, you want to talk about the slide down? Holy shit.
Uh, Kurt Burns said, "Whoa, whoa, Pete. I'm pretty sure my Monza has never ever been meant, ever meant to be a drag car."
Never meant to be a drag car?
That's what he said.
Yeah, well that's exactly my point is we take these cars, you know damn well when a Vega rolled out of the factory, it was never with the intentions of going 160 miles an hour, right? Or however fast he's going or however fast I'm going. And that's the difference between, a dragster is built for drag racing. And we're taking these door cars that were never meant to do what we're doing with them, and we're doing it. And you could feel the difference between a car that was built purposely for drag racing or a car that we took that was never meant for drag racing and drag racing with it.
Personally, I've always thought that Monzas were really cool looking race cars.
Well, I mean, Monzas and Vegas are pretty much illegitimate brothers. So it's,
Right.
the thing that I always thought was cool about a Monza is they came from the factory with a V8. Some of them did, obviously not all of them. But Vegas never had a V8 option unless it was, Jenkins got his hands on it or Motion or someone. But
Right.
from the factory, they never came with a V8.
Right.
The
All right.
Cosworth was about as crazy as they got with a Vega.
Yeah, and it was. I don't even think it was a high strung Cosworth either.
No, I mean I want to say like if a regular Vega made 100 horsepower, the Cosworth made like 120. It wasn't they're cool. With the way their induction setup is, and I think they make twin cams or something, but
Yeah. Uh, Kurt said Chevette and a Vega had sex, and Monza was born.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. That sounds about right. And that trio could go in either direction too, and it would come out the same.
Couple promotions from NHRA Division One for the division races at Lebanon Valley. From Steve Rhodes, win the race, win a cruise cabin.
How cool
Accelerated
is that?
Travel is offering a free cruise cabin in January on the Tommy D cruise uh, to a random racer that wins a Lucas Oil Series race and has the accelerated travel decal. I saw the post the other day and I shared it. Just have to go see Jackie or Sean at either the alcohol dragster trailer
Yeah,
or at their trailer, at Sean's trailer,
that'd
and
be cool.
they have the stickers. Put them on your car, and if like I said, if you win, you're entered in the drawing.
I do not have a single sticker on my car except for the ones that NHRA makes you put on. I took them all off. I do not have a single sticker on my car, but I will definitely be going up to the trailer and getting an accelerated sticker because that's pretty freaking cool that they're doing that.
I just want the sticker.
Yeah, all right, I'll get three. I'll
Yeah,
put one
get
for each
three.
side of my car, and I'll get you one.
Yeah, and I'll put one on my hot rod.
There you go.
Gerard says 110 horsepower for the Cosworth.
For the Cosworth. Woohoo! 110 horsepower. Could you imagine people getting excited over that, which is even funnier?
I'm getting more excited. The fact that Gerard's actually listening, that means
Yeah,
he's
I
not
know,
busy.
right? Well, he usually listens because half of what I say is usually inaccurate. So he'll
Well,
listen, he'll listen and write everything down, and then he'll call me up and break my stones about it. So
you were wrong about this and wrong about
exactly.
that. Actually, you know what? Screw it. You were wrong about everything that came out of your mouth, even your name.
He's the most knowledgeable guy that doesn't log on and come on the show that I know.
Tommy D said, get him a sticker, Pete.
Get Tommy a sticker?
Get Tommy D a sticker, he said.
Piece of cake.
So we got crappy weather. We've got how to get your kid into racing.
Yep.
How about bell housing bolts that
Yeah,
fall
I
out?
was just gonna say, I was just gonna say
You've had that look on your
we
face
got
like
it. We got
they're
it. I
gonna
don't
talk
know.
shit.
Did we talk about the wheels yet? I don't think we did we touch
Oh,
on
we
that?
didn't talk about the wheels because
Yeah.
holy crap, what a poo-poo storm that became.
Now I gotta the cynical part of me wants to know if there wasn't issues with wheels a week ago or 2 weeks ago, however long it's been, would there have been an issue with inspection cover bolts last weekend?
The thing that I liked about the inspection about the bolts for the bell housing thing
Yeah,
was that somebody in one of those threads, I don't remember which one, and I wouldn't say it even if I could remember which one it was.
yeah.
3/4 of the bolts are just glued on anyways.
Oh God.
The vast right wing conspiracy portion of the show
Yeah, yeah, right,
made
right.
its presence known at some point today.
I would say no to that. And the only reason why is because the the head of the bolt, for all intents and purposes, is probably the heaviest part. So that's what you would have to glue on to make it a dummy bolt. And I don't know that they are that concerned with weight in those cars where they would chance something like that for the minimal amount of weight that they would save. I mean, those are probably all titanium bolts and everything.
Say you're only talking maybe ounces at the most.
I can't imagine that if they only did, so I know it's got to have 12 bolts. Let's say only 4 actually held it on. The 8 that they made dummy bolts, I guarantee you wouldn't equal a pound. There's no friggin' way. So I can't imagine that that could be accurate at all, but who knows? What what they said when Coletta released their press release, they said that they found the bolts in the belly pan, which means
Yeah.
they were installed that they rattled loose.
And somebody's like, well, where was the Loctite?
Yeah, they I mean, with as fast as they have to turn these cars over, you don't really think they're putting Loctite on every bolt that they reinstall, right?
No,
It's like impossible.
no.
It's impossible for time. It's also impossible for taking the bolts in and out. I mean, you keep putting Loctite on them, and it's going to make a mess out of them sooner or later.
Right.
It's just it's whatever. It's something that happened. I don't really have an issue about it because it is a safety thing. Not that it would matter if I had an issue about it or not, but uh, Coletta, they took it on the chin. They said that, they were wrong and it's a safety thing and no problem. It's on them. Um, when the whole beadliner thing came out, there was a lot of people and not elite, just a lot of people saying that there were a lot of top fuel and funny cars that were getting caught with illegal stuff and it wasn't press worthy or points worthy or fine worthy. So now all of a sudden at the next race, the winner of the
Bam.
race gets bounced because a couple of bolts rattled loose. It's just kind of like you kind of got to wonder. But
Right. Yeah, we are checking stuff, kind of deal.
yeah,
All right. I have another one for you. This is
okay.
another vast right wing conspiracy. Or you're
Could
right wing, so I'm gonna hold on. I will correct myself.
you
A
could you tell how
vast.
desperate we are for content? Chris is just bouncing stuff off of me
Well,
tonight.
no, there's just some really whacked out crap that has come up late.
I am right wing, but I'm not MAGA right wing. I'm kind of a, a right wing liberal.
I'm like I'm like I ignore type person when it comes to
Yeah.
that stuff. You know that. All right. So no, this came I stumbled across this the other day and I was like, that's another good topic because we haven't had a good BS session in
Yep.
quite a while actually. Let's see. It's from Competition Plus. Give them credit so nobody gets pissed off at me.
Yeah.
Much of last week's news cycle has been focused on NHRA's fine and point stocking of Elite and Erica Enders. Expect expect those talking points to change at the next pro stock event, which is in Norwalk. The question several pro stock racers are asking, but not attributing publicly out of fear of reprisal, dun, 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 is which one represents a more significant performance advantage? Does a beadlock wheel liner provide better performance advantage than a set of tires manufactured 8 years ago, allegedly different than the current spec tire? I'm assuming they're talking compound.
Well,
Technically,
so
it's not against the rules, but it could be soon. One pro stock driver openly offered that the tires manufactured in 2017 can give as much as 3/10 advantage Another driver went so far as to say that the current spec tire offered by Goodyear is presently subpar at best. The point is, they allege something changed after COVID in 2020, a point where they say the tire manufacturer denies. A point they say the tire manufacturer denies, excuse me. Apparently, it's not hard to tell who's running all the tires. The racers advise looking at the date codes on them. Duh. We're told NHRA is looking into the issue and there could be action that comes forth following the Richmond race.
Interesting. So I assume by what you just read that they have a spec tire that they all have to run, and it's going to be one of those gray areas where they say spec tire, but the date on the spec tire is something that they probably never addressed, and now they're going to address it. That it's got to be tire number, 1232, but it's got to be dated 2024 or newer.
Right. It's like some tire places, like around where I live, I'm assuming probably down in your neighborhood too. Um, they won't mount tires on your personal vehicle
Right.
unless they're matching DOT numbers
Yep.
and they're all within like 6 months, I think it was,
Sure.
build date.
Yep. So the interesting thing that I liked about I heard a interview with Freeman, and I believe it was Competition Plus, but I'm not 100% sure. And one of the things that really bothered him, and I'm sure it bothers the whole elite camp, is how hard they're coming down on Erica for having the tires on the car. And he said point blank, Erica has no friggin' clue what tires are getting put on her car. None whatsoever. She's not part of that tuning process. She's not part of those decisions. She's there to concentrate on her driving, and that's what she does. She has no idea if they're putting skinnies in the back or 105W or whatever. And you could tell he was really upset that she was taking a lot of heat for a decision that the crew collectively made that didn't involve her whatsoever. But people being people, they're just gonna be people.
Right. Yeah, we're not in the days of Glidden or Johnson anymore,
Right.
where they are hands on every aspect of that car, top to bottom, front to back.
There are still a couple out there. There are some that are very knowledgeable, like when Jason Line drove. He's also an engine builder, so he knew a lot of the inner workings of what was going on. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of drivers out there that are hired to drive, and there's a lot of crew members out there that are hired to make crew decisions, and everyone kind of stays in their lane.
Yep. Um, one comment, it's all about the sidewalls, which
Yeah.
makes
Well,
sense.
that's so the only thing that Friedman said, and it's funny because he didn't say it in the interview. He actually admitted that there could be an advantage, that there wasn't yet, but they saw some potential to be an advantage. When the story first came out, he kept saying, we're getting penalized and fined for a tire that's a disadvantage, a tire wheel combo that's a disadvantage. I don't believe for a second that they put that on there knowing that it was a disadvantage if they thought that it was something that showed potential and they could work on it. But the whole premise behind the liner inside the wheel was it stiffened up the sidewall and there was less chance of tire shake, is what I've heard. So I mean, it's like anything else. We all know that the quicker you could get the car off the line it magnifies itself going down the track. So
Right.
there's a lot more to be had if you could get the car to bite earlier than doing stuff down at the other end of the track.
Right. All right, Steve, if you're still listening, is the interliner part of it similar to what the NASCAR teams ran? I don't even know if they still do or not. Um, on the super speedways. I assume it is.
Oh yeah, so I know the interliners have a couple of benefits. It's basically like we all know what a tube looks like, right? Well, the liner is like it's hard to explain, but it's almost like a low profile, like you see on these goofy cars with the tires that have no sidewall at all.
Right.
It's almost like a low profile tire, and it pushes against the sidewall and it locks the bead into the rim. But it's also pretty good safety wise, where if you ever cut a tire down, you've got that inner liner that you could ride on versus it just being rimmed to concrete or pavement.
Right. It's
So
almost like a tire within a tire. Like I said, I've
it
seen
is a
the
tire within a tire.
yeah,
Yes.
I've seen the NASCAR version of the interliner from back in the day. Like I said, I
The
don't know if they still run them or not.
the
But
downside to it is they're heavy as hell. So what they're trying to figure out is if stiffening up the sidewall and getting the car to 60 foot outweigh the rotating weight at the other end of the track.
right.
So that's what the deal is with that.
Yeah, yeah. He said it's the same basic concept.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, because what was it? They were initially when all that stuff broke, they were talking a lot about trying to get rid of the tire shake.
Right. Right.
So
And that's the they feel as though the best way to get rid of the tire shake is to stiffen up the sidewalls. And that's exactly what the liner tire does.
right. Well, it's like I'm sure you've seen the videos, the slow-mo videos of doesn't matter what kind of car, but a car launching and how much in all reality that tire slips before it finally finds its sweet spot and it just grabs and they off you go.
So I don't know if you follow the drag and drive stuff at all. That's kind of like my latest obsession, so I love watching it. So they had one out in the middle of the country somewhere this past week. It didn't happen there, but the one they had in Florida, Georgia, in the beginning part of the year,
Yeah,
the problem that they had with that was all the tracks were radial prep, and radial tires like to dead hook. All right. They don't want any wheel speed whatsoever. They want to, for every revolution in the tire, that's how much further they want to be down the track. Slick cars need wheel spin. They cannot dead hook or the front end will come shooting up. They'll roll over their tire. They'll rattle themselves to death. They need wheel speed. The problem that they had with the event down in Florida with the radial prep is all the really fast guys like Tom Bailey and Steve Morris and all them that got their, 5 second cars, Lutz, all those guys, they couldn't get any tire speed because the track was radial prepped. It was like friggin' flypaper. So every single one of them would dead hook the car, run over their own tires. It was a nightmare for them. So now what they were talking about doing was having one lane for radial and one lane for slick, which isn't as sticky so that they could get some wheel speed and get the ball rolling.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, they don't. If you went up to any pro stock top fuel alcohol, I'm sure Jackie, they could comment on this. And you ask them, do you want your car to dead hook? Every single one of them would say, absolutely not. We need wheel speed. That's the only way the car is going to go, which is crazy because you wouldn't think you would be able to control a spin, right? You would think that it would just instantly go up in smoke or it would dead hook. But that's why the people that do the clutches and the chassis setups and everything, that's why they're as smart as they are because it's controlled chaos. There's a very fine line between getting the wheel speed that you want and blowing the tire off the car or not having enough.
Right. Yeah, I've always loved watching those videos, especially that still photo that somebody took
Yep.
of one of the Top Fuel dragsters, launching off the line, going from a sidewall that's, you
Yes.
know,
Yep.
but at a dead stop is, that tall, and then when they mash the pedal, it's, an inch
Right.
tall as
And
it's
then if you
squatted
look
right over.
you look at a still frame of the other end of the track, the shape that that tire is at 300 miles an hour plus, like on a Top
It's
Fuel
like
dragster.
wobbly, yeah,
Oh, it's the backside of it's flat. It almost looks like a D. The backside of it's flat, and then it comes around, and the under. It's like you wonder how it survives a run like that because the things that the tire does is just bizarre.
yeah. Let's see. Steve again. Nope, that's why we don't spray before they run, drag only.
Right. Because they want wheel speed.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, they could make and that's the issue too, is like when you watch an event and you could clearly see that one lane is better than the other. If you're at a radio prep check, you could just go out and glue the shit out of it and make it so that it's flypaper. The problem is the NHRA, they can't do that because then the race cars will hook and rattle and shake the tire. And for the people looking at the stands, they'll see that it's just an aborted run. What they don't know is that they could go out there and make the track too sticky and cause them to have to abort the run. So, when you see those one lane racetracks, it's not like they could just go out and spray and make everything better. They're trying to walk that really fine line of, all right, we got to try and fix this lane and make it better. But we can't make it better than the other lane, and we can't make it too sticky where they can't get down. It's not. It's a friggin' dancing act. It's not nearly as easy as a lot of people would think.
Right. Well, it's like people were complaining about what was it, the right lane in Bristol
Correct.
was junk,
Yep.
and the left lane was fantastic.
And
So they
and what's sad is the difference between junk and fantastic could be this much. But to be able to fix it, it's like they would probably have to stop racing for the day, scrape both lanes, and then start their procedure from the beginning. And that's providing that one side doesn't have more moisture coming up than the other if they've had rain lately or during the event or whatever. It's not there isn't a race in the world where NHRA pulls in and says, yeah, if it's a one lane racetrack, who gives a shit? We'll get by and we'll get it at the next one. That does not happen. And the difference between a great lane and a lane that you can't get down is probably a lot less of
very
a variance
small.
than a lot of people would think.
I didn't realize until last year before, really how much post-race prep goes into prepping
Oh yeah.
a track. Until that night we were at Lebanon Valley.
Yeah.
Use
Yep.
that as the example again. It was what, 8, 9, 10 o'clock that night.
Right.
Was hanging out with you and Bree, and they're like, oh, they're prepping the track, and go up and watch for a little while, and it's like, wow,
Yeah. I
there's
mean,
a lot more
even
to it than I thought.
with the horror stories that they've been having this year with the weather. My son has been up there plenty of times where they would have to cancel racing on Saturday because it rains until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. See, it's contagious. Sorry.
So I was just going to
It
say,
rains
thanks a lot.
until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and then they have the early shutdown because of the circle track. But the sun comes out at 12, 1 o'clock. Them friggin' people get on that track and they start scraping and dragging and spraying and getting it ready because there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't appreciate what it really is all about till you actually get a chance to watch what goes into doing it.
Yep. I'll tell you one thing that blew my mind is I went to a national event in Englishtown. MSD had a seminar in the tower that I signed up for. And while I'm in the seminar learning about this is when the grid first came out and it was new and all the things that it did, blah, blah, blah. I'm watching, and Schumacher, his team, had this long, probably 40, 50 feet long with wheels on it. It almost looked like a skeleton dragster, but it was, the same width, and it had sensors on it, and they would roll this thing up and down the track, maybe 300 feet, back, straight up, straight back, move it over 6 inches, straight up, straight back. And they would do that for both lanes for the whole racing surface. And it was giving them a dimensional view of what the track. So any dip, any crack, anything, it would like give like a display of what it looked like. And we finally asked the MSD people, it's like, what the hell are they doing? And they told us. And I mean, there's so much more that goes into it that, like I said, we could sit back and say, NHRA sucks. One lane is worse than the other. It's a one lane racetrack. We couldn't even begin to fathom what goes into an event, a regular event like Lebanon Valley, a national event, a divisional. I mean, the shit that they do is way beyond anything that we would ever think.
Right, absolutely. I like sharing Brandon Mass's videos from Mass Traction, obviously
Yep.
not only because he's a partner of ours, but what he does when he first shows up. He takes that thing down to bare concrete or bare pavement
Yep.
and just starts building it all right back
Right.
up.
Right.
Grinding it, doing whatever needs to be done.
And
And
sharing his knowledge while he's doing it so that they could get another method of track prep and how to do it.
yeah,
It's pretty. I mean, when you have someone that will travel the country and help people out with their track prep and show them things and do things and techniques, you have to know that it's not something that you could just go out there, scrape a little rubber off, spray a little compound on, and say you're good to go. I mean, when
send it.
someone's
Yeah,
actually traveling the country and teaching people how to do this shit, or people are pulling out hundreds of $1,000s worth of equipment to essentially take a 3D snapshot of the surface so they know how to tune the cars. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of shit that goes into it that
uh,
unless you sit there and you watch it all the time, you have no friggin' clue. I love watching BJ make posts about the stuff that he's learning because he essentially started the beginning of last year,
yeah.
and he's a smart dude, and he's taking in everything that Wayne is teaching him and the other people at Lebanon Valley and what Mass Traction showed him, and he's taking it all in. And you could tell, like, when he makes Facebook posts about it, like how impressed he is with how much goes into it, and it's pretty cool.
There's no harm, no foul in sharing your knowledge because if you can help out one other facility or one other person, then it's worth it too.
Yep, the more tracks do better, the better the sport does.
Yep. So, and actually, on the subject of Mr. Mass, I did talk to him the other day. The order has been placed for his giveaways, so it's a
Oh,
matter of
nice.
it's got to go to him in Florida,
Yep.
and then it'll be sent to me. So hopefully, in the next few weeks, I'll be getting a package at my house.
Awesome. Good
So
stuff.
it is being taken care of.
So what do we owe someone for Maple Grove, correct?
We owe Nick Childs,
Nick Childs, that's right.
yeah, for Maple Grove, and actually, obviously, starting this coming Friday, we'll kick off the Lebanon Valley divisional
Yep.
guessing game. So I'll post that on Friday. Um, Also, don't everybody forget that we're having a fun little contest sometime Saturday night after the conclusion of racing. It'll only take a couple of minutes. It'll be in the office, in Sue's office, in the tower. We're having the Who is the Shortest game.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
me, Wayne, and who else?
and Steve
Steve.
Rhodes.
It's Steve
Yep.
Rhodes.
Yep.
I think this might be the first time I actually win a tall man contest. I'm gonna I'm gonna get an inversion table and start stretching myself out now.
So we will have professional medical assistance available to all three of the contestants in the
Excellent.
form of Pete's lovely wife Bree Sanka. Because Michelle Rhodes is not coming.
So I think what we should do is because the office has all been redone, we should find a nice clean door jamb that's just been painted, and we should mark ourselves on the door jamb so that
Sharpie.
not only could we show our height and autograph our own line, but as the years go by, we could keep track how much we're actually
How
shrinking
much you,
as we
yeah, you
go.
shrink. Uh,
I think that would be good.
I found out the insulting way that I've lost an inch in height when from the hospital in December. I used to
Yeah,
be 6'3". I go
really.
between like 6'1.5" and 6'2" now.
If I was sitting on my own shoulders, I wouldn't be 6'3".
So I get a sore neck when I hang out with you because I have to look down like that.
Yeah, could I?
Why?
I was in your
Why?
chair. Who the hell are you kidding?
Yeah,
That's like Scotty Wheels always makes fun of me. Calls me short as he's rolling around. But I think he was over 6 foot tall when he's upright.
yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
tall dude.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, if anybody wants to throw a couple bucks at one of us Saturday, whatever money we raise, it's all for fun. But if we happen to raise a few bucks, we're going to donate it to the winner's charity of choice or
That's a deal.
RFC, whichever, whatever. Um, you don't have to. It
Are
just,
there Vegas? Are there going to be Vegas odds or what? What do we got going on here?
I don't know. You know what? We should find somebody to do who knows more about Vegas odds than I do. That'd be cool.
I think. Wow. Could you tell I'm tired? The
No,
guy
not
with
at
the
all.
dragster, the guy with the dragster that just went in the fives.
Oh, Freddie,
Thank you. He seems like he would be a Vegas odds knowing guy.
a, a gambling guy.
Yeah. Yep.
It was funny. He messaged me the other day. He goes, so am I popular again?"
Yeah. Why? Because he gets thrown out of racetracks for going too
Yeah.
fast.
I told him that at the national event in New England. I'm like, it must be rough having the fastest top dragster in the field when he really spools
I
that thing up.
obviously, I mean, there's no doubting Freddie's ability to race, but and there really is no but. 6'10" to 590. You can't feel that. I mean, I know I wouldn't be able to feel it because I've never gone that fast before, so it would be like a friggin' blur for me. But as many passes as he's had, I mean, obviously you can't feel it because he's a good enough driver that if he could feel it, I'm sure he wouldn't have ruined his whole weekend. Not that it was totally ruined. He still had the top sportsman car, but um, It's amazing to me that you think you would know that, holy shit, my car's on a pass. I better bail out of this thing early. This is crazy, you know?
Yeah, dead drop at like 1,000 feet or whatever, or even 800.
Something. I mean, but again, like I said, he's a talented enough driver where he probably didn't think it was going that fast.
Ask him sometime how he tunes Old Blue, the Nova.
I love that car.
He, I honestly had to ask him when he told me if he was joking. He's like, yeah. He goes, I'll stand out away from the truck and the trailer.
Yep.
784, and he'll run within a tenth or so.
Well, he better run within a tenth. He better run within a hundredth.
Yeah, it just cracks me up.
That's
You know.
funny.
Yeah, and like I said, he's damn close to dead on every time with that
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, and I mean that's when you make a million passes in a combo that you don't change, you get to know the combo very well. I mean, you look at the people like, Ray Butler, in the Blue Malibu, Grant Nichols with his Mustangs and his dragster, and you Kirpins with their cars that they just have been pass after pass after pass, with a combo that's relatively the same. And you really get to know your car.
That's a perfect example this past weekend. All the Nichols cleaned house again.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
They are a talented group.
they are a great group of racers.
I
So
want to pit next to them, hoping some of their talent will just kind of fly over to my trailer a little bit. I'll take a little
they could
little
they
chunk
could
of it.
help you tune your car.
Yeah, right.
All right, Pete, you want to do this
Yep.
time? Holy crap! I've been doing that. That's
Wow, look at that.
way out in left field.
I don't know if I ever told you the story before, but I remember the couple of years ago, I had the issue with the staging beams up at Lebanon Valley, and Lebanon Valley was the only track that had happened to me. Um, and I wound up having a transmission cooler line that was hanging down just a little bit too low. And I believe I raced Grant and I went red because I pulled in, both bulbs lit up, but I knew they shouldn't have been lit up yet. So then I pulled in a little more and one went out. And then I went to go pull into final stage, but it had already fired the timer because I had them both lit at one point or whatever and wound up getting red lit. And Grant came over to me and he's like, "What happened?" And I told him, I'm like, "I don't know. This is the only track that it happens at. I got something." He's like, "Well, I know how we could check." I said, "How?" He takes his friggin' boot off and he starts shoving it underneath the front of my car. He said, "I know from going up at the track and looking at the beams that if my boot can't fit under the car, that you got to raise the front of your car." And so he takes his boot off and he's shoving it under parts of my car. And he's like, "Oh, this is the problem right here." And I tied up a couple of transmission cooler lines and I raised my car up like a half an inch. Never had a problem again. All because of his boot.
Hey, any point in a storm if it works.
That's, that's right. But yeah, he fixed my car with a boot. No
That's
tape
awesome.
measure or nothing or your fist. Now we're just going to shove a boot right in there.
All right, well, let's go take 68 pictures,
Yeah,
and then we'll do some measuring and get the
right.
laser out. No, all right. Yeah, give me my friggin' Red Wing. I'm gonna jam it under
That's
there. And
right. Yeah. This is
there
an
you go. All set.
old cowboy boot or so. We were cracking up.
Run down to Walmart, grab a package of zip ties, and we'll get this thing all set up and
Right,
ready to
we'll be
go.
good to go. That was great.
All right. So, like I said, Night of Fire coming up this Friday at New at almost said the dirty word, at Lebanon Valley Dragway,
Yep.
and then there's also going to be Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, Jet Cars. I think there's going to be a wheel stander too, if I remember right.
Most likely, yeah.
That's more than likely. Nitro Steve or whatever his name is with the PT
Yep.
Cruiser, I think. And then Saturday, there's going to be Nessa again.
Yes. No, Nessa,
And
period.
Nessa period.
Nessa is Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, Nessa Saturday and Sunday. Okay, my
Yep.
mistake. So be be careful. Keith might be showing up.
I saw that. I saw that. That's pretty interesting. Well, it's
So
good. I mean, if you come up, you get a parking spot for the divisional. You get to, I mean, Keith, I know he just went through some engine troubles. So he's got a new bullet in there. I'm sure he'd like to get a couple laps on it. Um, and if he never raced with the Lebanon Valley 1090 crew, he's going to be surprised because there's no ducks in that pond by any means.
absolutely. One other thing before we get on out of here, I noticed Mr. J Law is watching. He's you seen the latest pictures of his duster
Yep. It's every bit of what you would think it would be coming from him and his camp.
and then some, yeah. So that means Jason, you're gonna have to come on and fill everybody in about your re your
Revamp
revamped. I'm having a Phoenix. That's what we should call it. That's what it should be called. It should be
the
called the
rise of the
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah. Come and fill everybody in about the Phoenix Duster. So, but yeah, cool. This worked out good. Um, I was working on a guest. I was like, oh the hell with it, we'll just roll with it. And so we haven't had a good BS session in a while.
All good. No
Yep.
pressure.
All right, everybody. We will possibly next week, but definitely the week after. Because I know you got to wrap up the school year and then go do some racing and stuff.
Yeah, I actually, my last real day of school was Friday. But this week I'm doing a little summer camp for kids that just graduated seventh grade and going into eighth.
Oh, cool.
They're uh, they're coming in and doing a little mini exploratory just to kind of get a feel for the school and seeing if it's something that they would be interested in when they graduate junior high. So we're doing that this week, and then I'm officially done.
Nice. Now, does your school high school only, or is your
Yes,
so it's nine? It's
nine
nine
through
through
12.
12.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool. Good
Yes,
deal.
sir.
All right. So, like I said, thank you, Pete. It was good talking with you.
My
And
pleasure. Sorry I yawned more than I talked, but
that's all right. It's
it's all good.
all part of the fun.
Yep.
So like I said, if you're heading to Lebanon Valley for a night of fire on Friday, have a great time. Nessa Super Street action on Saturday and Sunday, and then obviously the divisional the week after. If you're interested in the promo from Accelerated Travel to possibly win a free cabin on the Tommy D Fun Cruise, in January. Go find Jackie or Sean Frick, get the stickers, get them on your car, and you could be entered to, excuse me, possibly get your name drawn at the conclusion of the year and go on a cruise.
Like it.
And everybody that I talked to that's gone on that cruise has had a hell of a good time.
Yeah, I went on one of them and it was not boring, I promise you that.
So, all right,
And if
everybody.
you're
So
up at
that's
Lebanon Valley this weekend and you see my feet hanging out from underneath my car and you want to help, the beer will be cold.
or just walk by and kick him.
That's all. Make sure I'm not sleeping.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody, have a great rest of the week. And if you are going to race at Lebanon Valley this weekend, have a great time. Like I said, the night of fire Friday night. That's the Super Street action all weekend long, as well as regular racing program at the Valley. And we will talk to you all soon.
Take care, guys. Good night.
All right, see you.